Yes. Wow. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. What's going on, everybody? It's Moose and Keith with you right here on the Better Sports Network. Good morning, Better fans. Good morning, everybody. It's a good Tuesday. Weather is beautiful outside here in the Northeast, so can't ask for a prettier Tuesday. Great start to your day. Good morning, Keith. How you doing, buddy?
I'm great. I thought that, Lakers losing last night and LeBron being done would sap me of my energy. Moose, I don't know if it's maybe the fact that I, took a big gulp of G Fuel before we went on the air. I feel alive. I feel revved up and ready to go. I think there's a lot to talk about today.
Oh, plenty to chat about. No question about that. And, let's start with LeBron because, and you are the LeBron supporter, but, let's start here because, dude, give me a break. I mean, the idea that you're going to go hit the press conference last night after your team gets swept away and you're going to make the story about yourself after the game about whether or not you're going to play basketball next year. Give me a break.
He nailed it.
Your team got completely and utterly embarrassed last night. Like you just and throughout the series. By the way, we're all the pundits out there that basically told us, and we called it at the time, where there was like this overwhelming thought after game one. Well, the Lakers have figured out the Denver Nuggets. Well, it's nonsense. I mean, everybody and their mother, nobody wanted to pick Denver, and congratulations to them as the first time in franchise history they're headed to the NBA Finals. But enough about LeBron James potentially retiring. And LeBron James after the game telling me, well, I didn't need to see. I knew how good Nikola Jokic was, or talking about the Carmelo Anthony video. And obviously he's got rabbit ears as well because people criticize him that he knows all or knows everything before anything happens and says he saw the video last week or he helped produce the video, whatever it might be, shoot the video, and LeBron afterwards saying, well, you guys aren't going to believe me that I knew that the video was coming out and then he was going to retire and, all of that stuff. But that's a side story, right? So he's obviously listens and hears everything, even though he tells everybody, I don't pay attention to social media when it comes down to playoff time, all of this stuff. After the game, to go out there and tell the audience that he is thinking about, with reporters, to think about retirement. Shame on LeBron James. Let the Denver Nuggets have a day. I mean, let them have a day. Let them have a minute. They just cracked out the brooms and swept away the Lakers as Jack and Kim K watched in attendance. I mean, Nikola Jokic showed himself to be the best basketball player in the world. Jamal Murray, or as you like to call him, Hamal, was
Hamal
fantastic
is man.
in the entire series, hitting one dagger after another. How about the play of Michael Porter? How about Gordon last night going, and LeBron giving us the acting where he gets nicked in the chin a little bit.
I mean, Gordon was grabbing his arm. He wouldn't let go. It was like an MMA move.
Gordon, so you get all that last night. The Denver Nuggets, LeBron goes out there and drops in 31 points in the first half. The Denver Nuggets were down 15 at the half. By the 6-minute mark in the third quarter, it was a 2-point game.
Yeah.
And LeBron looked like dead to the wind. He had no legs and no life left because he left it all on the line in the first 24 minutes of the basketball game. So listen, he went out there and scored 40 points. He scored 31 in the first half. LeBron did what he needed to do. I thought we were going to wake up this morning saying, where everyone's going to say, LeBron needs more, or the criticism of Anthony Davis, or the lack of adjustments from Ham, the head coach, or the disappearing act of D'Angelo Russell. All of those things, LeBron needs more help. No. We wake up this morning with all the speculation of whether or not LeBron's going to decide to play basketball next year, which is a nonsensical story. Like he is going to play next season. Yes. He just averaged 29 points per game and played 55 games during the regular season this past season for the Lakers. They just went to the Western Conference Finals. Let me ask you, for everyone out there that's going to debate whether or not LeBron's going to play, you think the last impression we're going to have of LeBron James is his team getting swept in the Western Conference Finals? You think that's the last time we're going to see LeBron James? Can we have a little bit of common sense on this Tuesday?
Yeah, no, also, by the way, 40 points. I would like to first start off by saying congratulations to Denver Nuggets. They are the best team right now in the NBA. They are headed to the NBA Finals for the first time in their franchise history. They swept the LA Lakers. First time that they've ever had the Denver Nuggets a sweep in the NBA playoffs. All right, so we're going to double back. We're going to talk a lot about the Denver Nuggets. Clearly, they outclassed the LA Lakers in every facet of this series. And I think maybe the most important part was they have closers. And for all my love and affinity for LeBron James, and I truly do believe that he is a closer in general, he's not a closer anymore. He's not. And he had some hiccups earlier on in his career. But if you look at all the clutch numbers, and again, clutch means anything under 2 minutes, which ties the game or gives you a lead, he's one of the greatest that's ever done it. That being said, the last couple of years, not his thing. He can't be the closer. He can't. That's why like people are clamoring for a guy like Kyrie, and we can get to that later as well. Now back to the LA Lakers and to LeBron James. So I went back and forth on this, Moose, because again, I'm the LeBron guy. I'm the LeBron supporter. I'm the LeBron apologist. I don't hate what he did as much as you do. Oh. I will tell you that, hold on. But I will tell you, I didn't like it. Like, I think there's a difference between hating something, not liking it, or liking it, or loving it. Definitely didn't love it. Definitely didn't like it. So I don't like it. And here's why. You could have let the Denver Nuggets have the day. You're right. Like, this did not need to be about LeBron James. And actually, had he not done, and we're going to play the sound for you, had he not said or alluded to any sort of stepping away from the game stuff, this morning, most even LeBron haters would have woken up and said, dude scored 40. He had 31 in the first half. He gave all he could. The Lakers just couldn't get it done against the Denver Nuggets. Congratulations, Denver Nuggets. Lakers need to retool.
He couldn't even, I mean,
I know,
he couldn't even give him a couple hours.
I know.
Like he just had to make it about himself. Yeah. Like, it's just.
Every star does that. Every star
not
makes it about
not,
themselves.
Listen, I don't know of every single star. But how much attention could you possibly need? You're a billionaire. Yeah. Like, what more do you need? Like, you're considered to be the greatest player of all time, even though by most people,
it's
not
either
all
Mike
people.
or him or Kareem, whatever.
Correct, right? Yeah. So you need to, after your team got embarrassed. By the way, Michael's teams never got swept in a play. I mean, do you think Michael would have gotten swept? He didn't get swept. I mean, he really didn't.
Michael wasn't playing at 38 years old.
I understand he wasn't playing, but let's be perfectly honest here. I mean, the Lakers got embarrassed in this series, and LeBron can't allow the personal pride deep down can't allow Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray did something. Jamal Murray went 50, 40, 90. He's the only player in the history of the NBA playoffs ever to do that in a finals.
But Moose, the problem with
he went 50, 40, 90.
Amazing. But the problem with the way LeBron did it also is this. He did give all the kudos to the Nuggets. He talked about how great Jokic is and Murray, and
there's no need. There's no need. Let's play it.
And, right, but then but the last thing he said, unfortunately, was about the potential of stepping away. Yeah, let's play it.
We've got it, Ernie. You've got it here. Here's LeBron after the game. What we're referencing.
But we'll see. We'll see what happens going forward. But I don't know. I got a lot to think about, to be honest. And just for me personally, going forward with the game of basketball, I got a lot to think about. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Yeah. So, I mean, right. I mean, wasn't there follow-ups as well about
no, so not on camera. So let me read you the follow-up. So Dave McMenamin, ESPN. Right. I know he's got a sort of a relationship with LeBron James, as far as I know. I think like the Brian Windhorst type of relationship. So this is how it goes, and this is what was in the write-up. He followed up. He said, when you say you got to think about stuff, what thread should we be pulling on that? James says, if I want to continue to play. McMenamin says, as in next year. James says, yeah. McMenamin says, you would walk away. James says, I got to think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right. It's laughable. I mean, come on. Unless he's got a torn everything in his foot and
can we have a little bit, a little bit of decorum here? I mean, can you and I
this
get
feels very Favre and Rodgers.
Oh my God. It feels just like I need to distract the way that the team played and put the focus someplace else. So now that everyone's going to be talking about the conjecture of instead of the focus being on the fact that the Lakers just got swept away by the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah.
Who,
And
by
they
the way,
got
were
to
the best
think
team in
about
the
it.
Western Conference,
Yeah.
and nobody wanted to buy into. I feel like I need to say that every time you talk about Denver.
I know, right?
Every time you talk about that, they were the number one seed in the West, and everybody wanted to pick everybody else other than the Denver Nuggets. But for LeBron now to make this about him and his playing future after the game, and even Keith, because there is no McMenamin interview right afterward if he doesn't close out his presser the way that he did last night.
No.
There is no follow-up. Like,
No.
there is just like, let's move on, and that could be a story for another day.
Yeah.
It really does. That doesn't need to be a story last night that's going to trickle into today, that's going to trickle into tomorrow, that's going to trickle into Thursday. We're going to have people basically camped outside of his home and his compound, following him down to Cancun in Mexico as he's on the banana boat with Chris Paul and Carmelo Anthony, who just retired yesterday, and figuring out whether or not whether or not LeBron James is going to go and play basketball again next season. To me, it just reeks of, I am such an attention seeker that I need all the focus to be on me. Like, that's what it reeks of, because he left a little bit of a kernel out there, and then all of a sudden is about LeBron, whether or not. Meanwhile, he's made it perfectly clear he'd like to play with his son Bronny. His son Bronny's going to USC next year. Yeah. Right? He's made it perfectly clear that, the drive is still there. By the way, the Lakers are not making the trades that they made at the NBA trade deadline, trading future number ones if you think they were doing it all for just this season.
So let me ask you a question, though.
I mean, come on. It's just like,
what
Denver's got to be like, are you serious here? Are you serious? Like, we had a player that set the all-time NBA mark for triple doubles in an NBA postseason. We just swept you away. We've had all the dealing with Jokic. Easily could have won 3 straight MVPs if not for what Kendrick Perkins had to say on ESPN and making it about about race. All of these things, when you look at it, like, if you're the Denver Nuggets, you're saying to yourself, like, what do I need to do here to get like some of the focus? Like, Jokic, Murray, how about Porter? How about the game by Aaron Gordon last night? Yeah. Gordon was unbelievable, dropped in 22 points. They didn't get, and there were still people yesterday that were telling you that maybe the Lakers could come back from 3-0 down and beat the Denver Nuggets. Like, hey, it's like they refused to believe what they were watching for the first 3 games. Denver's better. Like, it's not even close.
Yeah.
That is. And after the game, LeBron's got a hint about potentially stepping away and that he's got a lot to think about. Walk away. I'd be like, really? You're going to walk away after getting swept? Like, McMenamin's got to ask the question. You just got embarrassed and swept. He's not going to phrase it like that. You just got swept in the Western Conference Finals. This is the way that you want to walk away?
What if he leaves for a year?
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's the plan. He's going to step away for a year, and then he's going to be able to just join whatever team drafts Bronny.
Yeah, I mean.
Boom.
Like,
Moose, listen.
Keith, it's awful. It's
terrible.
I want to. And it's a nonsensical story. Like, I'll tell you right now, he's not retiring.
He's not retiring. He's not stepping away. And these are those situations where, like, imagine, like, we're both parents when you want to, like, have your child's back and you want to be like, oh, well, what they meant was this or this. No, like, it wasn't a good look. It wasn't needed. It wasn't. There was nothing about LeBron dropping the little seedlings that he could step away. Unless for some reason he really was, he's not going to, but unless for some reason he really was, it wasn't necessary, except for, you're right. This is a come look at me. Don't forget the fact that I just gave you 40 points. Don't forget the fact that I played every minute except for 4 seconds in the entire game. Don't forget this. Don't forget that. While the Denver Nuggets, they also won a game.
Right. I mean, the 47th
You're
NBA
right.
season, and they're going to the NBA final. One other quick note on the Lakers. Hey, Baby J, good morning. Everyone in our chat session, good morning. Thanks for watching us here, wherever you might be watching on the Better Sports Network. And we got you right up until high noon. And got a good show. Lucy Burdge is going to join us in hour number 2. Nick Ferguson, buddy of Keith's, is going to join us. We're going to head out to Denver.
I'm dreading this Nick Ferguson spot.
Chat with Nick coming your way, top of the 11 o'clock hour. So look forward to that conversation.
Can I just quickly say I'm dreading, like, I love Nick, right? I've known Nick now. I think we started doing things together around like 2015, 2016, maybe 2017, something like that.
Yeah.
He's very anti-LeBron, always has been anti-LeBron. This is gonna be a rough one for me.
Yeah,
he is going to bash LeBron a lot, and I'm not gonna have much that I can answer back with.
No, it's a terrible look. I mean, there's no other way. Although a guy that's a terrible look last night is Davis was weak. I mean, listen, you could have easily come out of last night from a Laker perspective and talked about the fact of, that there just wasn't enough, and there wasn't. I mean, Reeves is a nice player. Davis is very, very hit and miss for as talented of a player as he is. He does also get pushed around. It was great to see Anthony Davis stay healthy. D'Angelo Russell, I mean, is just a lost soul out there at times. And he played, 14, 15 minutes. He even got the adjustment with the starting lineup last night from him with putting Hachimura in. But it was just a matter of time. And give Denver credit. I mean, they left no doubt. I mean, they left no doubt in this series, and they deserve all the shine that should come their way for what they've accomplished and what they've done. Because they've got wonderful contributor players in Caldwell Pope, in Gordon, in Porter,
Bruce Brown
coming off the bench, even old man Jeff Green,
had a block too on LeBron.
Yeah, having a couple free throws last night, and Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic are an unbelievable 1-2 combination. So you look at, what the way that Miami is doing it as they're getting ready to potentially sweep away the Boston Celtics later on tonight. And they're doing it with really one superstar in Jimmy Butler. You've got two superstars for the Denver Nuggets in Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. And believe me, every time you talk to them, they weren't just focused on beating the Lakers. They're looking at this disrespect angle, and they're playing it to a T and they're not wrong. Sometimes people make things up and teams make things up about being disrespected. And you're like, well, that makes little to no sense. No. The Denver Nuggets have been disrespected the entire year. And they're using it, and now they're taking it out on the rest of the league. And now they're into the NBA Finals because they have. Nobody wanted to give Jokic credit. Nobody wanted to give this team credit. They were the number one seed in the West, and they were 10-1 when these playoffs started. They were 10-1, and they had home court advantage to win the NBA title when these playoffs started.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted. So give Denver credit because they've been fantastic, and they didn't give the Lakers one breath of hope throughout this entire series.
Nuggets were the best home team as well. Yeah, you're right, because you come into this playoffs, and we did all the numbers, right? Unless you were a Nuggets fan or from that area, most people were picking Phoenix, Golden State, Memphis was on your mind, the Lakers were on your mind. Like, I think coming into this postseason, most people had Denver as either the third or fourth best team coming out of the West, right? Everyone just believed, Kevin Durant, Phoenix Suns, they're going to be fine. They'll put it together. They didn't. There is something to be said. And actually, look at it. The teams that 3 of the 4 teams that were left, take the Lakers off the board right now. 3 of the 3 teams that are still technically playing basketball right now, all have been, for the most part, together for a while and have good chemistry. And maybe the Celtics don't, and maybe that's why they're down 0-3, right? But the Nuggets, listening to Jokic talk last night, one of the reporters asked Jokic, excluding yourself, I think he said, or she said, who are you the most happy for this, going to the NBA Finals? And he did a pause and he looked around. He goes, it's Jamal. Jamal tore his ACL and thought the team was going to trade him. We love Jamal. We need Jamal here. Michael Malone said something about Jamal Murray, the same thing. Like, this team, they love their coach. The players love each other. Even the bench guys. I don't even know if you know who this guy is, but Zeke Naji. Okay, Zeke Naji is a bench guy on this team, and I covered him in high school, right? I'm rooting for Denver to win the championship so he could be an NBA champ, right? He never touches the court ever, but he's always rooting on this team. Jeff Green, you mentioned him. Like, they are built to be friends who also want to win. The Miami Heat are built with this Heat culture, right? Spoelstra and Butler and all the way down. And even the Boston Celtics, like, maybe there's a fracture now and maybe that's why they're down. But coming into the playoffs, the belief was they would make a run into the postseason again, like last year and previous years, because all of the same faces for the most part have been there for a while. So maybe there is something to chemistry.
I think there is. I mean, listen, I think there, listen, talent. All you need a group to be together. You need talent on that group. You can only do so much if there's great limitations, or and there's different pathways to get there. Like I mentioned yesterday, Miami might be one where organizations drill down on. That's a very difficult scenario to replicate. What Miami's doing is next to impossible. Like you could spend the next 15, 20 years trying to replicate what the Miami Heat are doing. Comb undrafted players, finding guys that are in workouts, all of these things that Miami is doing to fill roles. There's a buy-in. And the other thing that I heard that was a great point is that, when you look at the Heat, a lot of those guys are playing for contracts.
Yeah.
And that makes the world go round. And Denver is as you mentioned, they are a really unified group, and they've got, it's amazing. Like sometimes when you take talented players and outside of the championship, give them something extra to play for, it just adds another level to their game. Like there was a hunger and a desire to the Denver Nuggets. They're more talented than Los Angeles, but there was a hunger and a desire to the Denver Nuggets that was not there for the Los Angeles Lakers, because Denver's got this, calling card that motivates them day in and day out. And that is this whole idea of, nobody believes in us. We've been disrespected, which is amazing when you think about the fact that, as you ran through it, Keith, you're not wrong. And when you give a team that's talented as Denver is a little extra motivation, which they have, well, you're seeing the results as they punch their ticket to the NBA Finals.
And for all you want to say about LeBron truly believes in the Nuggets as well. Roll it, Ernie.
It was a 4-game series. Every game had winnable moments,
Yeah.
and you guys certainly showed it. When you reflect on it, what were the margins, the edges that Denver ultimately was successful with?
It's just I think me and AD were just talking in the locker room for a little bit. I think we came to the consensus that's, if not one of the best, probably the best team that we've played since we've been together for our 4 years. They're just well orchestrated, well put together. They have scoring, they have shooting, they have playmaking, they have smarts, they have length, they have depth. And one thing about their team, when you have a guy like Joker, who, as big as he is, but also as cerebral he is, you can't really make many mistakes versus a guy like that. And even when you guard him for one of the best possessions that you think you've guarded him, he puts the ball behind his head, Larry Bird style, and shoots it 50 feet in the air, and it goes in. I think he did it like 4 or 5 times this series. So you do like this to him. There it is.
Yeah.
And and I did that for fun, by the way. I did that for you. But right, it's a shame, because if that was the way the interview had gone, you wouldn't be angry this morning. Like you wouldn't be so mad at him. Because that was genuine too, right? It was. And I think
I don't understand the motivation or why he has to drop that little nugget or that little crumb and then the follow-up by ESPN. Why not just allow, like, you have a healthy respect. Your place in NBA history is pretty much cemented. You're the all-time leading scorer. You've accomplished so much over the course of your career. Like, if you're really thinking about retirement, and that is real and genuine, save it for another day. Save it for another day. Like, that does not need to be out there last night after the Lakers, because you know what you're doing. And don't act like he doesn't. Like, LeBron has a full understanding of his place and his pull and his Q rating and the attention that he gets. Like, that was orchestrated. Like, that was it.
Do you think it was orchestrated, or it happened and then he decided to roll with it with McMenamin?
Well, no, I think at the end when he left the crumble.
Yeah.
And he left the crumb, I should say.
And he would have left it alone if ESPN didn't follow him, correct?
But he's smart enough to know, like, if you leave that crumb,
yeah,
there's going to be some way, shape, or form to follow up. Like if you could have directed that as McMenamin asked the question, you could have taken that comment in a lot of different ways, right? It didn't necessarily mean to have to be in retirement. He knew when he left the Crumb, and then he knew the follow-up questions were going to go. Like he's no idiot. Like he's been in the NBA for 20 years. Like he's a really good businessman. Like he's a smart, he's a very savvy guy. Like let's not all of a sudden be like LeBron James is the town idiot. Like I'm giving him a lot of credit. It was very calculated. Like that's it. And I don't think anyone can really tell me that it wasn't. And I just think it's a shame because of how good Denver is. And today should be a day, but I listen, today should be a day to just celebrate what the Denver Nuggets accomplished. I mean, that's it. But now it's going to be a question of whether or not LeBron's going to retire. And I saw some of the other stories, and you intimated about whether or not he steps away for a year and then comes back when Bronny's in the NBA and joins that team. I mean, but he said that might not be his goal. That's my goal. If it's not his goal, talking about his son, we as a family will be there to support him, which is a wonderful fatherly message. But there's going to be that.
Like he's a good dad. Yep.
I'm not telling you he's not.
Like it,
I'm not telling you he's not a good man. I just hated what he did last night. This has nothing to do with what he is as a human being, how he conducts his life, anything like that. I just don't think last night was the time to throw out the idea of him retiring, because that's all the focus today.
Yeah.
And Denver now has another layer of disrespect to go into the next series, because instead of it being about, let's be honest, because there were, there were, I'm sure in the NBA offices, I'm sure, at ESPN, I'm sure at TNT. I mean, they were all, well, not TNT because their coverage ends when the Eastern Conference Finals comes to an end, but they were all hoping and praying that the Lakers are going to be there. And everybody and their mother thought, it's got to be Lakers. It's going to be Lakers Celtics. You had the future bet on it. It ends up being Denver. And for all intents and purposes, it's going to be Miami, whether it's tonight or whether it's game 5. It's going to be Miami. So that's what we're going to get. And a lot of people thought that the Lakers were going to get there. And what you saw was, at times, you saw the limitations of LeBron James. And maybe that's the reason why he's looking at it and saying he couldn't finish.
Yeah.
His legs were tired at the end.
First time he feels a little self-doubt, maybe.
Right, maybe. That's fine. You can hold it. Keith, it doesn't need to come out last night.
Well, the other part of it, too, is, even when McMenamin followed him afterwards, because, like, what he did at the end, you're right. Like, I got a lot of thinking to do, okay? If McMenamin had asked him those questions, let's do it differently. If McMenamin said, when you say you got to think about stuff, what threads were you pulling on that? LeBron should have said, don't worry about it. It's just, it's an off season coming up. And McMenamin would have said, are you talking retirement? And if LeBron had goes, no, I'm not talking retirement. I'm just frustrated. I don't like losing. We'll talk soon. It's probably a dead story at that point too.
Yeah, it's dead. And Jacob Haas in our chat says whether he did or not, media would still be talking about LA.
Of course they would.
It's not a matter of talking about LA. It's one thing in the context, because LeBron was going to get massive kudos today.
Yeah.
Well, he dropped in 40 points. He did everything he could. I underscored 31 in the first half, only 9 in the second half. People would be ripping on Anthony Davis, ripping on other guys on that team not having enough support. Yep. All of those things could get into the coaching of Ham, but that's what the conversation would have been. But a lot of the focus would have been on Jokic and Denver. Instead, today, you have those Lakers stories about their limitations as a franchise, and potentially maybe, Kyrie Irving joining them in the offseason, or, what's next? How does the Lakers, what do they do to build upon and take that next step next year? But now the story is about really whether or not this was it for LeBron James. Like, I would be there's not been many times I've been like completely and utterly stunned. Like Andrew Luck, I remember when
that was pretty shocking.
That was stunning. Like when I remember being up at a hotel up in Saratoga with my dad going to the track, and all of a sudden I see the report on the local news that Andrew Luck was retiring from the NFL. Like that was stunning. Like I couldn't believe that Andrew Luck. I was like, is he sick? Like what's wrong? Like Andrew Luck is leaving the NFL.
Yeah, I got off a plane, and
I know LeBron's been in the league for 20 years, and I know he's 39 and everything, or 38 years old, soon to be 39. I would be stunned if LeBron is done with the NBA.
He's not
Like
done with the NBA.
I would be stunned.
Yeah.
Like I really would be. Maybe not to the level of Andrew Luck, but it would still be really surprising.
I think I'd be just as surprised. The Andrew Luck thing was funny. I was getting off a plane, and you have your phone off while you're on the plane, or like an airplane mode or whatever it is. I get off and it's like, I'm like, you're kidding, right? No way about the Andrew Luck stuff. Yeah. The only way I could foresee anything that he said last night coming to fruition, meaning LeBron James stepping away for the game, is if he really has so many issues with this foot that he's going to go get the MRI on, and he feels like he can never truly be LeBron again. And you know what? I don't think any of that's happening. He's going to play.
Yeah, right. If it's something medical, that's different.
Yeah, medical's different.
I'm talking about something by choice.
Yes, he's going to play.
Where he doesn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
Like he wants to sit on the sideline and get the ovations like former players do when they come, like that's really what LeBron's going to do. I just have a hard time.
Become a booster at USC.
Yeah, I have a hard time. I would just have a very, very difficult time seeing that. But so congratulations to the Denver Nuggets, Jokic, Murray, Malone, Porter, Gordon, Brown, Caldwell Pope. I mean, their performance in the Western Conference Finals, and now they wait. Now they wait and wait for Miami. June 1st. It's going to be a while. I mean, we are going to wait a while here before the start of the NBA Finals.
Did you see? So the last 3 teams that had this long of a break was the 1982 Lakers, 10-game break between when they won and got to the NBA championship. They won the title. A 9-game break, I think it was, for the 02 Nets, and they lost. And now it'll be a 9-game break for the Nuggets. But remember, if the Heat win tonight, it's an 8-game break for them too.
Yeah, 8-day break, no doubt. So it's going to be, and we'll get into the Heat and Celtics. Like I mentioned earlier, Nick Ferguson is going to join us top of the 11 o'clock hour. Lucy Burdge right around 11:30. Good morning to everyone on our chat session. Really, the guys that have been there from day one. Baby J, Jake Cabasa, we love you guys. And everyone in our chat session. It's Moose and Keith with you right here on this Tuesday, Better Sports Network.
Vegas Raiders have traded up to 35, and they give up the 38th overall pick. In addition, a 5th-round pick goes to Indianapolis as the Colts trade down. The pick is in. And, Coop, your top 2 tight ends, best tight ends available, are now off the board as Michael Mayer is going to be the Darren Waller replacement in Las Vegas, catching balls from Jimmy Garoppolo, maybe somebody else in the future. But Michael Mayer is off the board. The Raiders have traded up, and I always look at this too from like dynasty fantasy football standpoint. I always like the guys that are traded up for. Michael Mayer gets traded up for as he is off the board now at pick 35. He goes to the Raiders. How does he fit in this system? Not only with Jimmy Garoppolo, but also Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, some significant pass catchers there, including Hunter Renfrow now.
Eric, I love that you pointed that out because that's the part of the draft that people forget when they're doing their analysis. They think about the draft capital, they think about the landing spot, they forget the draft narrative, right? This proves to us that the Raiders, at the very least, had Michael Mayer as high as Sam Laporta, or maybe even higher, because they're looking around and saying, all right, that guy's gone. We have to get this guy right now. And this guy probably is a better fit for what Josh McDaniel wants to do. He's used to Rob Gronkowski. He's used to Hunter Henry, these two-way tight ends that can block and run routes down the seam. Sam Laporta is not going to do that. He's only 240 pounds. This guy is your prototypical real-life tight end. That's why a lot of people were saying he's the best real tight end in the draft. Clearly, pass catching is at a premium. That's why Dalton Kincaid and Sam Laporta went first. But this guy's going to fit really well into that scheme. My question is, when does he become fantasy relevant? Because the vast majority of tight ends that are fantasy relevant are top 2 targets on their team, with Devontae Adams there and Jacoby Myers there,
that's not happening.
And Hunter Renfrow there. I mean, when does it happen, Moose? How long do we have to wait?
Yeah, forever. It might be a while. I mean, when you look at it, but I do think he's a great fit.
Let me talk to you, Vlad, about an award here that I thought was very, very debatable. And it was Cy Young in the National League. In terms of odds, it's Strider at plus 230, Zach Gallen at plus 215, Clayton Kershaw plus 1,000. Clayton Kershaw, to me, his numbers are phenomenal and better, or at least right there with these other two. Strider was my preseason pick to win the award. But Clayton Kershaw at plus 1,000 compared to these other guys with similar numbers in the plus 200s. Like, let's bang on Kershaw and hope he doesn't get hurt, right? Where are you at with that, Vlad?
Yeah, those are great odds. I think the only concern that fantasy players and Dodgers fans had before the season started was innings limitations. Just wanting to make sure that he is fully ramped up for the playoffs. And as some teams do, you sometimes get those phantom IL stints. And we might see that sometime maybe around the All-Star break with Kershaw just to preserve his arm over the second half of the season. But man, he's a great pick. If you're telling me those are the odds, that's really, really nice. I do love your Spencer Strider pick. I think that's what I would have done in the preseason and bet on him. He's an absolute beast. So, but Clayton Kershaw at plus 1,000, those are phenomenal odds. And you mentioned Zach Gallen, he's incredible too. And looks like Arizona has been in the hunt there in the playoff. Well, so far it's early. Dodgers, maybe Padres will be in competition for that division. But yeah, that's a nice three-way race, and we might see some other players pop in there.
We're back. Yeah, we are. Carmelo Anthony, my guy, by the way, put me in his Instagram story. Told you he's a good guy.
Keith couldn't wait to get that out.
Oh, Moose.
Good for you.
And he did a salute to me for putting. I wrote a little something. Well, actually, I reposted something nice about him in my Instagram that had Austin was in the picture, not Alex. It was with Austin's team, and Carmelo, put it in there and had the salute. And I showed it to Austin this morning when he woke up. So the first thing that happens is, and I promise we'll get to sports again. First thing that happens in my house is I get up, I make lunches for the boys, and then I go into Austin's room and I wake him up. And he wants to be woken up as late as possible for him to have enough time to just brush his teeth, do his hair, get dressed, and walk out the door. Literally, we have it down to a science. He needs 9 minutes to do all of that. So I typically go in with about 14 minutes left, right? Because he'll usually talk to me or whatever. First thing he goes, Dad, Lakers win? I go, no. He goes, come on. And then he goes, what happened? And I explain what happened really fast. He's like, all right. And I go, I got something cool for you. And I pull up and I show him. He goes, my picture's in Carmelo Anthony's Instagram story.
Oh, there you go. Beautiful.
He's like, can you screen grab that and send that to me? I go, yes, I can. I'm like, now get up and go brush your teeth.
Look at you. Look at that. That's great. That's awesome.
That was cool. Yeah.
Did you tell him Carmelo never won anything in the NBA?
No, I'm going to leave that to Uncle Moose. Okay. The next time you're around them, this is what the conversation is going to go like. It's going to be awesome, right? Moose will be like, hey, Austin, Alex, how you guys doing? Great to see you. Give him a hug or a pound or whatever. And Moose is going to turn and imagine Austin is the camera right there. He's going to go, by the way, Austin, I want you to know that Carmelo Anthony, he's never won anything. I don't know why you like this guy. And LeBron James, I don't understand why he had to say that at the end of his press
I will say, I'll be like, Austin, you will win more than Carmelo did in the NBA.
Wow. Or at least as much.
No, you will win more. Now, listen, Carmelo was never and we got into it yesterday with Fensty talking a little bit about Melo. And I get the day it's amazing. You don't want to be disrespectful. The day somebody retires and calls it a career. By the way, I mean, he didn't play this year. And nobody was clamoring for Carmelo Anthony to come back to the NBA. You're looking at diminished returns at this stage of his life. Yeah. And the messaging we went through yesterday was fine. The big knock on him is his greatest team win came in college at Syracuse.
Yeah,
he had one trip to the Western Conference Finals with the Denver Nuggets.
One gold
that was
also, right?
Yeah, and internationally. I mean, but the team is loaded. Yeah. I mean, yes, he was a great international player playing for Team USA. But I'm talking about that's not
What do you go to one conference final?
One conference final, 2009. They lost to the Lakers. Yeah. That was it. I mean, now the Carmelo defenders are going to tell you, well, he was never surrounded by all-star caliber talent. I think he played with 3 all-stars over the course of his career. That was it. It was Allen Iverson, Chauncey Billups. I forget who the third was. But that was basically it when you look at Carmelo Anthony, which is fair. Listen, I just look at a player I'm not going to tell you anything more than it is. Like I think Carmelo Anthony. And I read a lot of the stories yesterday. I have a healthy respect for Melo. I've got a Syracuse Melo jersey and all that. It was great when he came to New York. I was disappointed with his tenure in New York, even though he dropped 62 points against the Bobcats in 2014 and set an MSG scoring record. Like that was a great individual moment. And he had to deal with Phil Jackson. I was disappointed because the Knicks never really did anything. Won one playoff series as a member of the Knicks, went to the playoffs the first 3 years. Didn't really accomplish all that much. It was nonsense and drama. Not all of his own doing. I'm not saying that, but and I don't think he aged well as an NBA player. That's the other thing as well. Like we were talking about LeBron James. LeBron James can still be a difference maker. Is still motivated. Like, I just got upset with LeBron because last night, and you're just seeing it, Keith, like nobody's talking about the Denver Nuggets, outside of us this morning. Like everyone's talking about everything else other than the Denver Nuggets. And it's a shame because they deserve some of it. But that was, the doing of LeBron last night in that back and forth that he had with ESPN after his presser when he dropped the crumble and dropped the crumb out there about him having a lot to think about this summer. Carmelo Anthony was an unbelievable scorer. He was. Exquisite scorer. Did he win? Did his teams win? No, they did not. I mean, that's all. I mean, and you could take it for whatever it is. You could support him and say, well, he didn't have, he didn't play on a loaded team. For sure. He didn't have not. He had to deal with the nonsense of Phil Jackson in New York with the Knicks, for sure. There's a number of ways that you can paint it, and it's really kind of the way that you want to look at it individually. I have an appreciation for Carmelo Anthony as a scorer. Do I necessarily think if you want to critique him and say that he wasn't a winning player or a championship player or he wasn't a defender, well, I think there's enough there to criticize what Carmelo Anthony did as an NBA player as well.
I would also say that in every generation, and again, this is I don't know how I became the Carmelo backer here, just because I guess I see him around at Lehigh. But so in every generation, there are the stars / superstars that just don't win because of the generation they're in. You look at, like this current generation, this was a LeBron, Steph Curry generation, right? Like Carmelo Anthony was his entire career with LeBron, and that hinders your opportunity or chances to win. Most of his career was with Steph Curry and the Warriors. That hinders your chances to win. And this is that I'm actually not trying to make an excuse for Carmelo Anthony, even though it kind of sounds like I am right now. I view Carmelo Anthony in this vein. I think he is an all-time great scorer in the NBA.
Right.
I think he is a star of his generation, bordering on a superstar of his generation. And he is a first ballot Hall of Famer because the Pro Basketball Hall of Fame includes everything. Well, lets everyone in, but every part of your career from college.
Right. And he would be a Hall of Famer. I'm just saying that in jest. He would be a Hall of Famer anyway, based on his stuff, but it's not all that difficult to get into the Pro Basketball Hall of Fame. The biggest criticism outside of what I mentioned about Carmelo and, would be that I don't think his game was adaptable over time. We've seen other guys change and adapt.
Although he was still a bucket when he was playing with Portland and stuff like that.
It was the same offensive game.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, but the thing is, though, he was still giving you 15 points.
I get it, but he was also giving up 22 on the defensive end. Like he did not necessarily adjust or adapt his game as he got older. He didn't adjust or adapt his game to suit the style of the team, whatever it might be. That would be it. Listen, he's maybe the Knicks retire as number 7 at some point in time.
They probably will. I don't know if they should, but they probably will. Actually, I stand corrected. I don't think they should, but they probably will.
Yeah, they probably will. I don't think they should, but they probably will.
Just because he's going to go to the Hall of Fame, so it looks good for the Knicks to retire someone's number that went to the Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah,
isn't it just good for your organization, probably?
I mean, think about this. Like, when you... Yeah, I guess. I mean, yeah, they're going to do it because it's a great PR move.
Yeah,
and
that's what a lot of this is. Like,
do
you think Pau Gasol deserved to get his number retired by the Lakers?
He won championships.
No, I know, but he was always Robin, is what I mean. And Pau Gasol's not like
Pau Gasol.
Is he in the Hall of Fame, Pau?
I don't know.
No, he's not retired long enough. I don't think.
No,
Anyway.
I mean, Pau Gasol was. I mean, he was a great player.
Yeah,
And
Carmelo was a
listen,
better player than Pau. I think so.
I mean, he was with the Lakers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years.
Okay, what were his numbers during that? You have his stats there?
Yeah, he averaged over 18 a game, 17 to 18 a game.
Yeah.
When he was healthy. Yeah. And played 81, 82 games. Listen, we could get into it. He was a winning player. You know, I mean, I think when you win championships, I think it's different. If you're going to look at Carmelo Anthony, do I think the Knicks will do it at some point in time? Yeah, probably. You know, but congratulations. That's awesome about being on the Instagram story.
Yeah.
And that's fantastic. And him giving you a little bit of a pop, and that's great for your boys. So that's fantastic.
Well, yeah, it makes dad look cool. All right.
No doubt.
Let's go to the phone lines here. Let's bring in a caller here. And I have a feeling I know who this is. Yes. What's up, Corbett?
What's going on?
All right,
Keith?
so Moose, just so you know, this is my college buddy, Mike Corbett.
Mike, what's going on? Good morning.
We won an award
Good to see you,
together
Moose.
in college. He likes to remind everybody about that on the best broadcast that's ever happened at Hofstra University. There you go. Go.
Also, that Keith Irizarry is not really a fantasy sports expert, but we won't go into that. The thing I wanted to call about is, and I'm actually glad Keith brought this up. I don't think the Knicks should retire Carmelo's number. I think there's multiple other Knicks that are more well-deserving of having their numbers retire. The folks that come to mind, Bernard King, Charles Oakley, John Starks, honestly, even like an Allen Houston. So I don't know if Carmelo is at the top of my list of people whose numbers the Knicks should retire right now.
Yeah, Mike, I don't disagree with you. And I'm a Syracuse guy. And I've got like a Keem Warwick jersey that's hanging down here in the basement where I'm doing the show this morning. So I'm a huge Syracuse guy. I love what Carmelo did and love that run that he had and winning a championship with Jim Boeheim. I appreciate his time in New York with the Knicks, and he was an all-time great scorer, top 10 in the league, 9th, I believe, when he retired, all-time in the history of the league in scoring. I would not retire his number. I don't think he is on that level to have his number retired.
So I would not retire, and I said that I wouldn't retire it either. They're going to, though, and it's like Moose said, it's a PR thing. It's good publicity for the organization. Melo's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, so put his number up in the rafters, and 15, 20 years from now, you point up to little Mikey and little Davey, and like, oh look, that's the Hall of Famer Carmelo Anthony. He was great here for a couple of years. There you go.
Yeah. By the way, Moose, you should ask Keith about the story that he called Hofstra Syracuse game at the Carrier Dome. McNamara was throwing oops to Warwick all night. It was fun to watch, except if you were broadcasting the Hofstra side.
Yeah, well, Mike, I want to ask you. So Keith is not a fantasy expert.
Oh, stop that.
Is that true? Is that true, Mike?
So
my friend league, they like to trash talk.
Is he a little fraudulent here? Is someone
Keith
feeding him?
I-
Is someone feeding him the info?
Keith and I have been in a fantasy football league for probably 23 years now. He finally won a championship like 2 years ago.
I was in the finals a bunch, semifinals a bunch. Yeah, I finally won one a couple years ago.
Until then, that would make you the Buffalo Bills. But
yeah, so
basically, so I've won more championships than Keith. A couple of friends of ours have won multiple championships. It was only until a couple of years ago that he could actually. So technically, he's not a fraud anymore. He won a championship. But until then, I was happy to say that. Yeah, his career was built on lies.
And what was he like in college?
Very handsome.
What was he like in college?
Very handsome.
He had about as much hair as I did.
Oh, he did. I know. We've seen the pictures. You don't need to crack him out. I'm sure Mike has seen them already. We've seen that. Look at him.
No, he was.
He's
Keith's always been a really good guy.
He's got his Slam magazine with the LeBron autograph. Look, yes, there's his picture.
God.
There you go, Corbett.
That's the Keith that I first met.
Yeah, buddy.
That's the Keith that I first met.
Mike, I'm with you, man. I'm with you about it. Who do you like tonight? Who do you like tonight? Do you like Miami or you like Boston?
I like Miami, and I actually posted something on Twitter. I think this is the first time in both the NBA and NHL that you might see sweeps in all of the conference finals, which I think is incredible.
Mike's a big hockey guy too, by the way, Moose.
Oh, beautiful. Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, big hockey guy.
Yep.
Well, Mike, thanks
The
for
Rangers
chiming
should
in. We
hide Block,
appreciate
that's
it,
just
brother.
me.
I would agree with you. They're going to wait till June, though. It looks like.
Yeah,
They're
I
gonna
think,
wait a
but I
while.
think they should bring up Chris Knobloch. We need somebody new.
Mike, I'm with you. Enough with the retreads. If you're the Rangers, like these names, Peter Laviolette. I mean, that's who you're going to go to. I mean, we were waiting on figuring out whether or not Joe Quenneville is going to be able to be activated by the National Hockey League. Like, what are you doing here? You
Don't
got
even know
rid of
why
Gerard
Quenneville's in the
Gallant.
conversation after what he did.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Nope.
No doubt. You can't hire Joel Quenneville. Go give Knobloch an opportunity. Go get the next John Cooper.
Yeah,
That is what I'm hoping. I'm hoping they recognize that that's what Chris Knobloch is, and he's done a great job in Hartford, and I think he's deserved the chance. So,
Corbett,
Mike,
would you like to say one thing nice about me before you go?
honestly, Keith is one of my best friends. I was in his wedding party, and his sons are wonderful. His wife is wonderful. His family's wonderful. So, but he's
go.
not a fantasy football expert.
That's it. Mike, you're the best, brother. Don't be a stranger.
Take care, fellas.
You got it.
Later, Corbett.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Don't be a stranger.
Literally, Mike and I have known each other. He's a year younger than me, so I met him in 1999, and
I love
we have
it.
been close friends ever since. Yeah, it's funny. I knew he would say something about the boys and Jody because, like, of all my friends, and I have a good group of friends. He's like Uncle Mike, basically. Like, he really is. My boys absolutely adore him. Yeah.
That's awesome. He seems like a great guy.
Yeah, he is. And he's into politics now. He was a broadcaster, and now
So he's gotten out.
he totally got out of broadcasting. He went into union work, which is what his father had done. His father passed away a couple of years ago, and now he's gone into the political route. Yep.
Oh, yeah, I can understand.
Yeah. And he's a big Knicks fan, big Rangers fan.
I could tell.
Yeah.
I could
Knowledgeable guy. Yeah. It's like, it's funny. I my closest group of friends, two of them were broadcasters, both got out pretty quickly. And the rest of the group is not broadcast. Well, you know, Scott Miller too. He's a producer behind the scenes, like board op and stuff like that, and produces stuff at CBS and FAN. But otherwise, everyone else has kind of gotten out of the field. It's actually kind of fun for me to not always be around like industry people and just be around like my boys.
Well, everyone's running for the hills.
I know. I'm not.
Yeah. No, I understand that. But some of them have run to the hills to basically mansions, and
yeah. I would like to have a mansion.
I understand that. Like guys I went to school with, one's in pharmaceutical sales, the other one runs his own real estate business down.
Sometimes you wonder if we went the wrong route, huh?
They went into right. They're doing all that. Speaking of Miami, how about the Heat? They're home tonight, game 4 of their playoff series against the Celtics. Miami laying 1.5. The total in the game is 216. Before we take a quick time out, Nick Ferguson's going to join us top of the 11 o'clock hour. Lucy Burdge at 11:30 this morning. Let's get into a little Boston and Miami. And I would not pick the game one way or the other. Like I really wouldn't. If I had to select the game, like I think Boston's done. Like
all the values on the Celtics, though, right?
Yeah, it is. But you're really, after what you witnessed in game 3, a team basically quitting on the court. Now, all of a sudden, because of that embarrassment, they're going to be able to circle the wagons and find a way to win a game 4 tonight. Like I could be wrong. Like if that happens, like Boston goes into the game tonight, they're the more talented basketball team. Spoelstra is by far a better head coach. I just wonder about Boston. Basically, like it's over. Like there's like, let's just make this as painless as we possibly can. We got embarrassed in game 3. I'll give you the fact that the Celtics are a more talented team. They're not the better basketball team. That's Miami.
No, I think the Celtics win, though, tonight. And listen, they were plus 146 last night when I went to bed. They're now plus 102 on the money line. So obviously money coming in on Boston here. For the same reason I said that I thought the Lakers would lose last night, the Lakers, if it came down to it, did they want to even bother having to fly to Denver, knowing that you're never going to win this series, right? And I think LeBron played hard. I think the guys play hard, but they fell short. For Boston, I mean, these Celtics, they're going to have to go back to Boston at some point anyway, just to, even if they're packing up their stuff at their apartment or whatever it is and to go to their summer vacations and summer homes and whatnot. I think the Celtics find a way to win tonight. I think Tatum has a night. I don't think that we're going to see another day where Tatum and Jaylen Brown combine for 26 points and go 1 for 14 shooting from long range. I'm not sure if Jaylen Brown has a big day, but I think Jason Tatum can hike it up once and then Miami will figure it out in game 5 or game 6. But I think Boston wins tonight.
Yeah, I think it's over. I got to be honest with you.
I wouldn't mind if you're wrong. I mean, I don't really want Boston to win necessarily.
Yeah,
I also like more basketball, so maybe that's what I'm rooting for here.
To see. Yeah, it would be great to see another game. It would be great to see. I'm not with you. Like I think everything you mentioned, Keith. I don't think you're out of line, or I don't think it's crazy. I don't think it's lunacy. I think there's been this unbelievable, especially in the betting markets, this unbelievable confidence in the Boston Celtics, whether they've earned it or not, because of the way that we've talked about Boston and how talented this group is. I just can't get there. Like after seeing, half the game on Sunday night, and that was a game that you could turn off in the third quarter. I just can't get there with Boston. You might be right. We might be hitting the airwaves tomorrow morning and talking about the Celtics, showing you a little bit of Celtic pride and getting this series back up to Boston for a game 5. I'm all in for more basketball. Yeah. Believe me, I don't want to see a 8-9 day break before the start of the NBA finals. And you're going to forget about it before it gets going once again. Like I don't want to deal with the fact of having 8 or the next 9 days of just complete and utter conversation getting bashed over your head, whether or not LeBron James is going to retire. So yes, give me more basketball. I just can't get there with Boston tonight. I just can't.
Give you a few numbers. I'm on my BetStamp app. So if you have PointsBet or WinBet, if those are, in your neck of the woods, plus 105 on the money line for the Celtics. Bet Rivers is plus 104. FanDuel is the best, pretty much, well-known one at plus 102. Caesars, DraftKings, BetMGM, all are even money. Miami on the money line is basically minus 120 to minus 125 anywhere. If you wanted to just go Boston plus 1.5, which I don't think makes a lot of sense there. I don't think, if you think Miami's going to win by 1, I can get you minus 108 at Bet Rivers is the best. Otherwise, it's minus 110 pretty much everywhere. So realistically, I think you're either taking Miami to cover the points, the 1.5, and then I can get you Caesars at minus 105, or you'll take Boston to win. And if you're, going over to FanDuel plus 102, I think those are probably the best 2 options.
All right. Level of confidence you have in the Celtics tonight. Beer and pizza money or full unit?
Weird. I think full unit. I think they're
going to win tonight. Okay.
Yeah. Like I actually think that I'm going to bet the Celtics to win tonight.
All right. There you go.
Like I think I'm going to bet my own money.
Did you get them last night at plus 146? Or you're going to bet them now?
No, I should have. I should have bet last night. No, it would be plus 102 right now. So it's not as much value, which makes me not be that as much interested, but essentially whatever I put on, if they win, I double my money. So
no, I get it. I'm just curious about, but there's different, like in horse racing, there's a difference between whether I love a horse or like a horse and the amount of money I bet, or in a when you're talking about a sports bet, whether you love or you like a bet, there's different. I would
say I like the Celtics plus 102 a lot on the money line.
There you go. Half a unit.
I don't want to marry that.
That's 3/4 of a unit.
But, I don't want to marry it. But if I was a single man, I would take it on a date.
Okay.
Is that fair?
He's putting his new driveway, new asphalt on it.
No, I think I would put a meal.
They're remodeling the Keith has got basically construction workers showing up. He's putting
I got a lot of stuff going on, man.
He's putting his new what toilet bowl did you go with, by the way? Did you go with one of those upscale ones, the Totos or whatever it's called?
All right, so
Kohler?
Are we gonna pull back curtains here?
White Glacier, whatever it's called. Glacier Bay, the one that you can get at Home Depot.
Whatever Jody wants is what we're getting. She brought home a whole bunch of, I don't know. She brought samples home last night. I was trying to get on the air for Better's Eye, and she has me looking at these samples, and I'm like, yeah, the gray one looks good. And she's, oh, you like that one? I'm like, yeah. Do you like that one?
No. Pick stuff. No, here's the deal.
Okay.
I'll just because I've gone through 3 bet. We redid all 3 of our bathrooms.
Okay.
They needed to be, not because we did it by choice, because we bought a house that needed a lot of work. Right. So that's why. So we redid all 3 of our bathrooms. If you buy cheap, you buy twice. If you buy good stuff, you buy once.
Yeah, she's buying expensive. Don't worry.
I know, but I'm being serious. And even though, like, when you look at like faucets and all that stuff, Kohler is everything else falls apart.
Okay.
Like I had a plumber tell me that Kohler.
Yeah, I got the vanity. The vanity's getting delivered today. I got to be here to get the vanity. Yeah.
Find something. Find Kohler. Kohler makes good stuff. It'll last a while.
I know the upstairs, the master bathroom, when all we did was change the toilet at one point, because that bathroom didn't need to be fixed or anything like that, but we just wanted a new toilet.
We moved into our house. One bathroom was pink.
Nice.
The other one was yellow.
Nice.
And the other one was there was like a mold issue in one of the other ones. So
Love it.
So
that's why you have a tick now.
Yeah, correct. So we had to redo a lot in this house. Like we moved in and my wife was like, "Oh my God." We moved into it. Like they had literally had the way that the bathroom was designed was the toilet was like right next to the shower stall. Like right when you stepped out of the shower, opened the door, the toilet was
easy
like
access for everything, I guess.
It was like the strangest design ever. I was like, who designed this? This is so odd. So it's so strange. But I'm just telling you, not that you have to buy the most expensive stuff. Don't do that.
Don't skimp is what you're saying.
Yeah, because if you skip, like there were things that we skimped on, and then like 6 months later, we had to have a plumber coming in and rechanging everything because it was terrible. The product was awful. Anyway, we'll come back. There's my little bit of handyman advice. And I'm not a handyman. Nick Ferguson's going to join us next. We're going to head out to Denver. They're celebrating in Denver. I want to get his comments on LeBron James as well. We'll do that next.
So painful.
Nick Ferguson joins the program. It's Moose and Keith with you on a Tuesday, Better Sports Network.
Bye weeks are so incredibly important in best ball because you can't change your lineup. You can't grab somebody off the waiver wire. You don't make changes. So you've got to be prepared. If you're taking 4 quarterbacks because you want to be sure you got to be very methodical about the schedule, especially the bye weeks.
Yeah, that's a good point by you, because I don't, in redraft leagues and in especially in dynasty leagues, I don't give a damn about bye weeks in a dynasty league. I'm taking the talent that I need. Especially if it's like a startup dynasty league, man. And so, that's created situation. Matt Deutsch's league last year, I had a glut of, it was like week 9, I seem to remember. It was the bye week of death for me. Like, it's a 2 quarterback league. I had a bunch of QBs. They were like all on the bye at the same week. It was insane. At best ball, you've got to really be strategic about that. And it's almost more important than the statistics that you might put next to the player as the bye week to let you know, no, I can't go there because I got this guy, and this guy, and this guy already.
You have an opportunity to get a quarterback you want, but your first 2 have the same bye week. You just can't do that to yourself. You have to be thinking it through. I do pay attention to bye weeks in my drafts. I just do. It makes me a lot less of a struggle bus situation when it comes to Buymageddon. I don't want to have 4 players. I want to have all my wide receivers and just be playing scrubs. I don't want to have to get rid of a player that I like, that's healthy, that's performing for me just because out of desperation.
Let me talk to you, Vlad, about an award here that I thought was very, very debatable. And it was Cy Young in the National League. In terms of odds, it's Strider at plus 230, Zach Gallen at plus 215, Clayton Kershaw plus 1,000. Clayton Kershaw, to me, his numbers are phenomenal and better, or at least right there with these other 2. Strider was my preseason pick to win the award. But Clayton Kershaw at plus 1,000 compared to these other guys with similar numbers in the plus 200s. Like, let's bang on Kershaw and hope he doesn't get hurt, right? Where are you at with that, Vlad?
Yeah, those are great odds. I think the only concern that fantasy players and Dodgers fans had before the season started was innings limitations. Just wanting to make sure that he is fully ramped up for the playoffs. And as some teams do, you sometimes get those phantom IL stints. And we might see that sometime maybe around the All-Star break with Kershaw, just to preserve his arm over the second half of the season. But man, he's a great pick. If you're telling me those are the odds, that's really, really nice. I do love your Spencer Strider pick. I think that's what I would have done in the preseason and bet on him. He's an absolute beast. So, but Clayton Kershaw at plus 1,000, those are phenomenal odds. And you mentioned Zach Gallen. He's incredible too. And looks like Arizona has been in the hunt there in the playoff. Well, so far it's early. Dodgers, maybe Padres will be in competition for that division. But yeah, that's a nice 3-way race, and we might see some other players pop in there.
All right, we're back. It's Moose and Keith. The Denver Nuggets are unstoppable. Yes, they are. A sweep of the LA Lakers. He is Mark Malusis. I am Keith Irizarry. Gonna bring in my buddy, Nick Ferguson. And Nick Ferguson, do we have him yet? Oh, there he is. Nick, I'd like to start this off by saying you look very handsome. You are extremely smart. You are a cordial human being. You're the best, Nick. So I don't know what you want to discuss today. You want to let's talk about your Denver Nuggets. Let's talk about just your Denver Nuggets. Nothing else. No other players on opposing teams or whatever. Just your Denver Nuggets. Hi, Nick.
What's going on, fellas? Hopefully you guys can hear me without any interruptions. Okay, I'm sitting outside of the school. I just had a school visit here. But it's funny how you just started out just saying that you don't want to talk about anything else.
No, just else, the Denver Nuggets. Just the Denver Nuggets.
Just the Denver Nuggets. Hey, listen, before we get to the Denver Nuggets, I would be remiss if I did not mention this. Hey, what happened to your guy last night?
Yeah.
Carmelo Anthony retired? Is that what you're talking about?
No, let's not. No, LeBron.
I'm trying. Oh, did he freeze?
I think he froze.
Oh, I think he's in a bad service area.
I think he's in a bad service area.
All right, we're gonna have to get him back. We'll get him back.
We got to get him back on.
Yeah, because Moose, you're gonna enjoy this.
Oh, I can't wait.
So I'm gonna give you, Moose, a little bit more of the genesis of all of this, like how like the origin story, right?
Okay.
So back when I was at NBC Sports Radio, Nick was a weekly guest for me on my show at the time. Was called Calling the Shots with Keith Irizarry on NBC Sports Radio, right? And Nick was a regular guest of mine. We became friends. My producer was fantastic. Would throw him on all the time. We had so many, it was never heated, but good conversations that revolved around mostly LeBron James, because he was an anti-LeBron guy. He would try to sell me on Steph. He would try to sell me on Kobe at the time. He would try to sell. I actually think that he tried to sell me on Carmelo Anthony over LeBron James at one point, right? Very anti-LeBron. What I can tell you is this. Over the years, I have definitely got him to soften his views on LeBron a little bit. He's still anti-LeBron, but he's not a LeBron hater anymore. But he thoroughly enjoys when LeBron struggles, because I get text messages. I've gotten random video messages from him, things like that. Like, what's up with your boy? Like, he loves hitting me. What's up with your boy? All right, let's see if we got him back. Nick, let's bring him back on. Nick, I just gave the origin story because I know you're a big comic book guy on how the LeBron James story happened. And back at NBC, when you would just rip me to shreds for LeBron, and you would try to sell me that like Matthew Dellavedova.
Nick, I feel like Keith is just filling time here, because LeBron deserves to be criticized after what happened last night.
Yes, I am.
It gets to a point we got Nick on here. Nick's gonna back me, and basically the rant that I went on, shame on LeBron. Nick, I mean, you can't even give the Denver Nuggets a night before you have to throw out this idea that you're going to retire. I mean, you can't even give Jokic and Malone and Jamal Murray a night. They just swept you in the Western Conference Finals.
Well, yeah, when you look at Keith, he's doing what he typically does. He normally fills time, and then we get to the bottom of the hour, and then I can't really say anything about LeBron. But just think about it. I mean, Keith raved about LeBron, and he has the title of being King James. But this series has been more like a court gesture for LeBron James. And once again, I don't want to throw shade on his name, but he didn't really play too well in this particular series. And it makes you think, I mean, have we seen the last of LeBron? He toyed with the idea of, well, I don't know what I'm going to do. And he has to take some time to think. Yeah, he does have to take time to think. Well, okay. See, that is a narrative that Lakers fans and Keith were put out there. He scored
31
40
points in the first half.
Yeah, what happened in the second half, buddy? What happened in the second half? 9 points. 9 points. Now, when I think about Kobe and I think about LeBron, what?
He's older than you. You get tired sometimes, and you're in peak physical form.
But see, that is an excuse that LA fans use. He was tired. One of my actor fans in LA, I hit them up, and that's the first thing they said. Well, he was tired from the Golden State series. I'm like, what? Is that the excuse that we're using now? Look, LeBron is one heck of a player. And I give him all the credit in the world being his age and still being able to do what he's doing. But I have to give him the blame where blame needs to be handed out, because when you look at how many transitions that Lakers team went through, you have to figure that he was really important in making those decisions with Rob Pelinka. And then also I'll add this. Let's look at every place that LeBron has played. He's always left some carnage in his wake. When he left Cleveland, he put them in a difficult situation. When he left the Miami Heat, he put them in a difficult situation. Now with the Los Angeles Lakers, he put them in a very difficult situation. And oh, by the way, I heard that Kyrie Irving was sitting courtside. So I know what LeBron is going to do.
Yeah,
He's telling everyone, hey, you know what? Well, yeah, he's telling everyone, I don't know what I'm going to do next year, but he's going to recruit Draymond Green. He's going to recruit Kyrie Irving, and he's going to recruit other players because he can't go out like this.
I would,
James.
Nick, I'll interrupt you with this.
Come on, man.
Can I just give you this? 26, 12, 9, 22, 9, 10, 23, 7, 12, 40, 10, 9, 2. That does not sound like a player that can't play anymore. Those are LeBron's numbers.
Well, I'm not saying.
Sweep against
listen, see, you can quote all the numbers you want to give me to validate your point, but there's only one number, Keith, that matters at the end of the day.
Wins and losses.
And that was 0-4.
Yeah, no, you
were swept.
His team lost. He played well.
You know what, man? I can't win for losing with you.
So much fun,
right? So you don't want. You don't want to lay blame where blame needs to be placed.
Okay. All right.
Come on, man. Let's be realistic.
Well, Nick, do you think their performance hurts LeBron in any way? Like, I don't think this is an indictment on LeBron James. Do you?
Well, it's not going to, hurt his overall legacy, but it is going to cast that shadow of doubt, especially when the barbershop talking. Keith and I have had this conversation before. When you start talking Michael, you start talking Kobe, you start talking LeBron, then this is going to come up in that discussion, right? Because it's just like on the biggest stage for one of the top tier organizations, you didn't show up. And yes, you had a 40 burger. Yeah, you had that, but you had 31 points in the first half. You only scored 9. So that everyone is going to harp on that. And also the fact that, when you look at who was the maestro of putting these rosters together, LeBron James had a lot to do with that. So if you look at the Lakers players and say, well, hey, D'Lo didn't play well, Schroeder didn't play well, then once again, you got to go back and look at LeBron and say, well, you were part of this.
Yeah.
You're part of setting this up.
I do agree with you on that one. And I would say if there was ever, and Nick, you and I have had this conversation off the air, and Moose, you and I have talked about this on the air. I still firmly believe Michael Jordan is number 1. I have LeBron at number 2. Other people have LeBron at 3, 4, 5, whatever it is, right? But if there were ever going to be a conversation about LeBron overtaking Michael Jordan, I think this series, meaning getting swept in the Western Conference Finals, put the nail in the coffin. I don't see how LeBron would ever overtake Michael Jordan.
Well, you know what, Keith? I've been trying for years to get you to say that, right? So now it's on record. You have now officially said that. Thank you for saying that Michael Jordan is the best of all time.
Yeah.
Stick a nail in the coffin.
That's it.
And
stick a
LeBron's
nail in the
number 2.
coffin. Your boy. No, he's not.
LeBron's 2, yes.
It's Kobe Bryant.
No,
well,
Kobe
you
was
keep saying that,
Robin
but
for 3 championships. Sorry, no, thank you. He wasn't Batman.
Nick, I want to ask you.
I'm gonna let you have that one.
What is, because we got into a mellow conversation last hour, off of LeBron for a second. What is in Denver? How is Carmelo Anthony perceived? Like, do Nugget fans love Carmelo Anthony, or because of the way that it ended, do they look at, does that change the way that they look at Melo?
Yeah, they look at Melo as a villain. If you bring his name up, that's what. If you bring up Melo's name, be prepared to hear some things that you don't want to hear, some expletives, as they describe who Melo is. And when you start to look at Melo's history with the Nuggets organization, you have to put him in that top echelon of players. But everyone's going to talk about Nikola Jokic. To them, Carmelo Anthony is a blip on the radar. They don't even want you to bring him into the conversation because how he left. But I understand why he left, because at that time he didn't feel that the organization were doing the right things to make him a better player, put talent around him. And I know, there was a lot of players who were here. Chauncey Billups was here. Allen Iverson was here. Kenyon Martin was here. But at that time, he didn't feel as though he could actually grow as a person here in Denver. And that's one of the reasons why, the Nuggets decided to give a max deal to Michael Porter Jr. because they understood the situation that they were in. A lot of players don't want to come to Denver. Let's be totally honest. Either you're traded or you're drafted to Denver. Now, based on what we're seeing take place now that's probably going to change because they see, well, Denver is an opportunity for me to win a championship, especially with Nikola Jokic manning the center position. So things have now changed as far as how players will view Denver, but Carmelo Anthony is viewed as being a villain here because they feel as though he was a superstar and he betrayed them.
How was the vibe with Jokic not winning the MVP this year?
Nuggets fans were pissed. They were highly upset, and I think that motivated them a lot to really show up at Ball Arena because they felt as though Nikola Jokic was robbed of being a 3-time MVP. But what I tried to explain to them is that Joel Embiid had a sensational year this season, and he's been trending in this direction, and it was always something that would derail his ability to.
I think we just lost Nick again.
Yeah, I think we're having a little problem with his connection there.
Yeah, a little bit of a technical issue.
Good breakdown though with Nick. It was good stuff.
Yeah, no, it was great. I wanted to ask him one more if we get him back up about Denver, the Broncos, that is, and about the expectation with Peyton and Russell Wilson year one for the Denver Broncos. But yeah, I could understand why the Denver Nugget fan looks at Carmelo Anthony the way that they look at him. I mean, he's a guy that, asked out of town, wanted to be traded. And if you're a Nugget fan, and I get his frustration, I thought Nick really encapsulated it well. He didn't feel he was frustrated by the way that the team was being built around him. Didn't necessarily think he was progressing, but as the old cliche goes, be careful. The grass is not always greener on the other side. Went to New York. They didn't win anything, went to Houston, went to Oklahoma City, went to Portland, went to the Lakers, and Carmelo Anthony could never hook on with that team to be that complimentary piece late in his career to help a team win an NBA title.
So your ultimate view of Carmelo Anthony is great scorer, really good NBA player? That's how you would view him?
Yeah, I think he's an all-time. I think he's a great scorer.
Yeah,
he's an all-time great scorer.
Yeah,
and I think he is, deserves to be in the top 75, deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. All those things. I do think, though, when you drill down on him, I think there are warts to his game. And that's the way that I would look at Carmelo Anthony. That's all. I look more fondly on Carmelo as a Syracuse Orange than I do as a New York Knick.
I feel you. Yeah. Jacob Assa in our chat, by the way. I think you meant can't discount 9 finals appearances. I think it's 10. And he has 4, but how tough is it to get there at 38? He took a 12 seed to the Western Conference Finals, essentially. Yes. Stop the madness. I'm with you, Jay. I am. I come away from the LeBron season, and I'll say that as opposed to just the Lakers season. I think this was a successful season for a 38-year-old basketball player. He was still one of the 10 best players in the league, probably 10 or 12 best players in the league.
Yeah, probably. That's why I think it's nonsense that he would retire. I don't.
He's not retiring.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it, but I don't. I think this year, I think it leaves a very, very bitter taste in your mouth when you get swept in a playoff series. I do.
Do you think the him and Kyrie thing will work?
It only if Kyrie is willing to understand what it takes to and is willing to be the teammate of LeBron James once again. And that means where LeBron is, just as Michael and Kobe were, is very, very difficult to be a teammate with because he's very, very demanding, as great players are. They want you to be great. They want you to work on your weaknesses. They want you to practice hard. They want you to play hard. They want you to be disciplined. They want you to be detail-oriented. All of those things. It drove Kyrie batty in Cleveland. Like, Kyrie didn't want to deal with it any longer. Like, he didn't. And he begged to go to Boston. Kyrie, Kyrie's best days with the least amount of drama were his days in Cleveland because LeBron kept him focused on basketball.
And just hit a big shot or two towards the end of the game. You be a closer. Let's rock.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And Kyrie didn't want to deal with the constant drumbeat of being a LeBron James teammate. And he went to Boston, was a disaster. It was a disaster in Brooklyn. Went to Dallas this year to be that running mate with Luka Doncic. They didn't make the playoffs. They were tanking at the end of the season to maintain or make sure they still had their top 10 protected pick. If they didn't have that, or they fell out of the top 10, it would have went to the New York Knicks. So, that's where Kyrie, I'm not telling you that you just have to be a basketball player. You can do a lot of different things, but the focus is for Kyrie Irving is do I think it'll work in Los Angeles? I think that's a question, is where's the mindset of Kyrie Irving? I think Nick is Nick back with us? I think he is.
Yes, I think we got him now.
Nick is back with us. Nick, we were talking about Melo, in Denver, and the way that he's, viewed as a villain. Obviously, here in New York, Knick fans are starving. They view him I'm a Knick fan, as a conquering hero, even though he accomplished nothing here with the Knicks. But the Knicks haven't done anything in 50 years. They haven't won an NBA title. I'm curious, in Denver right now, Jokic, where is he in terms of, is he the biggest star in Denver right now? Without question.
Yeah, right now he is, especially thinking about what he has been able to accomplish. And I'll tell you this, guys, I've said this countless times on the radio here, and a lot of fans, they tweet at me and they get upset on the text line. And I said, well, Nikola is a great player, but in order to solidify his legacy, to be one of the greatest players to ever play this game, and by far one of the top big men to ever play this game, he's missing one thing. And everyone's always asking what? I say, remember, Beyonce said you got to put a ring on it. And that's what he's missing. Yeah, he's missing that ring, because I said, well, there is that red velvet rope, and then there's a purple velvet rope. That's where the top of the top are allowed to go in that back room. And we all know Nikola Jokic is an amazing center, right? But in order to be in that conversation with the Bill Russell, with the Wilt Chamberlain, with the Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, you have to win a title.
You forgot a guy, LeBron James.
Oh, I'm sorry. It just kind of skipped my mind. But yes, thank you for reminding me. But LeBron James, you have to win a title, and this is why. See, LeBron did two things. He's a smart guy, right? And everything he does is always calculated. Now you're swept. Now you don't just lose, but you're swept once again by the Denver Nuggets. But the first thing he said in his post-game presser was he raved about Nikola Jokic, how great he was of a player, and almost like he was a unicorn. But he did that also to save himself a little backlash, because if I get swept by one of the greatest players in NBA history, it somewhat makes it that much better. So that's exactly what LeBron was trying to do. But he was right when he was trying to list out all the abilities that Nikola Jokic brings to the game. And that's why he's so beloved here in Denver.
How difficult is this NBA Finals going to be for you if it's the Miami Heat and the Denver Nuggets, you being a Miami guy? You're born and raised, correct, in Miami?
Born and raised in Miami. I'll tell you what, it's not going to be difficult at all. I live in Denver. I played for the Broncos, but my loyalty is to the 305. I don't care how it shakes out. If my loyalty will always be to the 305. And I'll tell you this, there have been people here who have criticized me for being a Miami Heat fan, calling me a bandwagon jumper. And I was like, well, I grew up in Miami when the Heat kind of first got there. and they had Sherman Douglas and
Ronnie
Ron Asaki.
Cycli, yes.
Right. So I've been a Heat fan since those days when the team was worth nothing. Right. So when the team starts to, ascend the way that they're ascending, of course I'm gonna celebrate. But I'll tell you this, I haven't worn a single piece of Miami Heat paraphernalia the entire time, and I'm not going to.
Nick, last one from me would be this, would be the Denver Broncos. What do you expect this year one with Sean Payton? Or what should fans expect year one with Sean Payton?
Well, I would say, temper expectations. And typically I'm not the person to do that. But the reason I'm saying that because they're learning a new scheme on both sides of the ball. And there's a lot of new pieces, a lot of new moving parts. And Russell Wilson, this would be his third offense that he would have to learn. And because I've been there before, I know how difficult it is. And I'll say this, the great Peyton Manning, and as cerebral as we all come to think of him, he even had his troubles trying to learn a new offense with Gary Kubiak. And Coach Kubiak had to kind of change his offense to kind of fit that of Peyton Manning. So it's not going to be as easy. And for me, this is why these OTAs are so important. The Broncos are having OTAs now. I'll be at practice this Thursday. But for me, it's kind of like put the one foot in front of the other. It's almost like baby steps. But hopefully at some point by week 5, they're able to pick it up. And the reason I say that is because week 5, you play the you play the New York Jets here in Denver. Week 6, it's a short week. Now you have to play the Kansas City Chiefs. And right after that, you play the Green Bay Packers. So that's going to be a tough stretch for me. And I'm going to be able to determine what this team can be moving forward in week 5 and week 6 if they can kind of go out and show that they can play great football against those two great quarterbacks.
And I'll leave you with this. If it's the Heat and the Nuggets, I need to pick your brain on which one of these nicknames you like the best, okay? So we all know that everyone likes to be him, right? That's the thing right now.
Yeah, him.
So we have Himmy Butler.
Himmy Butler.
Jamal Murray. Or Himola Jokic.
Oh, it's easy.
Well, for me, I think, what do you say? Butler?
Himmy Butler.
Himmy Butler. Yeah.
Moose likes Hamal.
I like Hamal Murray.
Hamal Murray.
Hamola Jokic is terrible.
He didn't like Hamola Jokic.
It's
no,
terrible. Either Himmy Butler or Hamal Murray. Like Hamal Murray. Every time I see Jamal Murray, because he's got this into my head, Nick, now, because he brought this up like every time I see Jamal Murray, now I think about it's Hamal Murray. Like I'm like, you guys are mispronouncing it. It's Hamal Murray.
Yeah. I'm pushing this. I'm trying to make it a thing.
Well, once again, me being a Miami Heat fan, Himmy Butler. Right?
Okay.
Because Himmy Butler, because you think about the Himmy car and the rate of speed. So the way that Jimmy Butler has been playing, he's been the catalyst to why the Miami Heat has been so successful for. So it's Himmy Butler.
Fair enough.
Nick, you're the best, brother. We appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, man. Go Heat.
Go Heat. Right. That's exactly right.
LeBron's still awesome.
well, that all depends on who.
Hang up on him.
That all depends on who. Hey, he's an Oprah. He's an Oprah, Keith. You would never live this down.
I know.
Never.
I know. I thought about calling out sick today. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, your dude put up an egg. But hey, you know what? There's always next year.
Always
Maybe.
Next year. Nick, have a good Tuesday, man. All right.
Nick.
I appreciate it, guys.
Told you
Lucy Burdge is going to join the program. We'll talk a little bit about Tom Brady now being a part owner. Well, he has to get approved of the Vegas Raiders. Get into a little Red Sox, talk a little Celtics, talk all things, not just Boston, but catch up with Lucy Burdge. We'll do that next. It's Moose and Keith with you on a Tuesday right here at Better Sports Network.
Monday Night Rants with Edward Rouse on Better Sports Network.
Do you believe in the Madden curse? Do you think that's a real thing?
I did. Now, I don't think it's as big of a deal anymore, but it was a real thing for a solid 10, 15 years.
Yeah, it was Sean Alexander, LaDainian Tomlinson, Peyton Hillis.
LT was never on the cover. I know that.
Was he not? I thought he was one. Okay, well, you do know all the covers of everything.
Yeah. Okay. So if you want, I could do this real quick. So Garrison Hearst is the first official Madden cover athlete, 1999. 2000, I believe they still put John Madden on the cover, and then 2001 is where it all started. So 2001, you have Eddie George. 2002, Dante Culpepper. 2003, Marshall Falk. 04, Michael Vick. 05, Ray Lewis, first defensive player on the cover.
Okay.
06, Donovan McNabb. 07, Sean Alexander.
Okay.
08, Vince Young. 09, Brett Favre.
Okay.
10 is a trick one because it's
No way you know.
and Larry Fitzgerald. 11, Drew Brees. 12, Peyton Hillis. 13, Calvin Johnson, I believe so.
You're right.
14.
No way you know all this.
14, also a trick question.
Uh-huh.
I believe that's the Madden 25 cover, and it's Barry Sanders, unless you got it for the new consoles, in which case Adrian Peterson
Oh my God.
was on the cover.
You're not cheating. You're not looking at.
Swear on my life. Swear on my life.
Okay. Keep on going.
15, you have Richard Sherman.
Okay.
16, hold on. 16 is Odell Beckham.
Okay.
16. 17, now this is the one I get mixed up because 17 and 18 are back-to-back Patriots.
They are.
17, I think, is Gronk, and 18 is Brady.
You are correct.
19 is Antonio Brown.
Correct.
20, Patrick Mahomes.
Oh my goodness.
21, Lamar Jackson. 22, Brady Mahomes. 23, John Madden. But yeah, dude, I'm a cover nerd when it comes to this stuff.
We now know, but that was really impressive. I don't know how.
Thank you.
That's literally 29 of them or something like that. Wow, that is. You did not miss a single one, and you even got the special editions where they had two people on the covers.
Monday Night Rants on Better Sports Network.
All right, let's welcome aboard right now Lucy Burdge, friend of the program. She's great. She's fantastic. And BetQL, she's all over the place, joins us now. Lucy, good morning.
Good morning. You guys are fantastic.
Lucy, can we just start here? Because I sent you a DM the other day because I thought your take on what was, I thought, just an asinine story in New York was just insane, which was the chase, the 2-hour chase with the paparazzi around the royalty, where and it got national headlines. It like the local news was going like they were doing 30-minute reports on it. Like there is no way in New York City there is a 2-hour chase anywhere.
No chance. This was a CNN breaking news alert. That's how I first saw it on my phone. And I looked over at it and I thought, no way. Another lie from these two. There's no way. First of all, I just saw it and thought, okay, lie, because they lie all the time. And there are things that they have said that have been proved to be lies. And so as soon as I saw it, then you break it down. You're like, yeah, there's no way a chase could happen. Then you get the statement from the NYPD saying basically this in very, nicely saying, yeah, this didn't happen. Saying, oh, they were followed, but they returned to their residence without incident. So first thing I thought, the way that their PR team described this was as a near catastrophic car chase. And as soon as I saw that, I thought Harry wants to be this tragic figure like his mother so badly. After reading his autobiography, Spare, or listening to it, I listened to that whole goddamn thing, and I hate that I bought it. I hate that I bought it, but I did. But he mentions his mother, and every sentence was, yes, we all love Princess Diana, but it is something in him where he has to prove that he also, like, he's grasping for a purpose, and he wants to be this figure too, and wants to really show like the royal family is terrible.
No, and here's one more thing. We're talking about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. There was a story last week. If no one was following it, how could you miss it? I mean, it was all over. There was breaking news. I was getting alerts on my phone that there was a near catastrophic car chase in New York City. I was like, when? I was there last. Like There was no God. When
Wouldn't
did this
you
happen?
first
I was there last night.
I see construction. They're shutting down the FDR Drive every night. But there's no, you can't move. I mean, there are
Right.
times where you're just sitting there. But here's the thing, well, the other aspect to it, how do you have time to get out of your car if there's really this insane car chase and then hop in a yellow cab to get back home if the paparazzi is chasing you like that?
Wait,
Right.
so Lucy, you think this is all fabricated?
I think it is. Something happened where the paparazzi were following them and they took it 10 levels up, where they said, let's use this and you make a story out of this so that we get headlines after the coronation, after everything, whoever. It's always when Kate is at an event or William's at an event that Harry and Meghan come out with some little thing like, oh, we just bought a new podcast network, or we just our documentary by Netflix. It's like little things that they try to one up. And so I think it's definitely fake. There was no chase, because my other thing too was, what did we hear on the news? Like, there is a car chase through New York City. That would be news. And then later on find out like, oh, it was Meghan and Harry. First, I feel like that news would come out first.
I agree with you. If there was a near catastrophic car chase and this and that, it would
There'd be
make
footage
news
everywhere.
Right. It would be on. Right. We had police scanners. I work at WPIX. They're manning the scanners. There would be something of news. Then you'd find out that it was Meghan Markle and Prince Harry.
Right.
You would not find it out all of a sudden released from their PR department that they were involved in this high-speed police chase or car chase by the paparazzi.
Exactly.
So Lucy, do us a favor here. Let's put this into sports comparisons.
Yeah.
So Meghan and Harry, who are they in sports?
They would be, I'm trying to think of someone I really hate in sports.
Well, I mean, you hate the
Probably
Yankees.
they are the New York Yankees.
Yeah.
They are. See, I respect Aaron Judge, but you know what? I think Aaron Judge is I just say the Yankees in general.
And William and Kate?
William and Kate are the Boston Red Sox. Just a very pristine, elite, fun to follow organization who are very well. The other thing, Aaron Judge is a liar himself. Said, I was looking in the dugout and I was saying, nope, no, guys, don't.
Yeah, but here's the deal with that, Lucy. They did nothing wrong. They didn't use an Apple Watch. They weren't banging on
I don't
garbage
think
cans.
he was cheating. I don't think
Toronto was sloppy. Their pitcher was tipping pitches, so the Yankees noticed it, took advantage of it. So be it. It was odd to look at. And I love when Schneider's calling one of the Yankee coaches fat boy. That was very entertaining.
That's what I want.
And I
want
like
that kind of baseball again. That kind of rivalry chirping each other.
I agree with you. I love the hatred angle. I love that there's an edge when the teams take the field to one another. But people lose their minds in today's day and age. They're like, the Yankees are cheating. Judge is a cheater. No, that's old school baseball. They were tipping pitches, so they took advantage of it.
Yeah, the worst part was Aaron Judge's excuse, because that was a lot. No, I think everybody is doing that though. If you're not doing that, if you see that the catcher, the first base coach can see the catcher's signs, go for it.
Yeah.
That's fair game. I don't think Aaron Judge did anything wrong. It was kind of, I think the broadcasters were right on it. They were to point that out. Fair game again to point it out. And I don't think Aaron Judge did anything wrong there, because it's using your eyes. I don't think that's cheating.
I think this might be the last one for me on this whole topic. King Charles, who would he be?
Ooh, King Charles. Ooh. Well, I probably, the owner of the Yankees. No. I like King Charles. Wait a minute.
Yeah, I'm wait, do you like King Charles? Yeah.
He would be, not John Henry though.
Owner of the Patriots, maybe?
Yes. Oh, he would be Robert
he's Bob Kraft.
He would be Bob Kraft, because Bob Kraft is having Tom Brady back. So I do like that.
So King Charles is, I'm not going to go there. Forget it. Because we know about Bob Kraft's indiscretions.
Well, one of the things that they not mentioned at the coronation, but I thought about this because they were saying
coronation was great, by the way.
Oh, coronation was a delight to watch.
Even though the rain was falling down, it was great.
Yeah, well, King Charles was not happy at the beginning about William and Kate being late. He had some comments in his carriage about those carriages, though, a bit outrageous. But during it, I thought the things that were printed in the newspaper of years and decades ago of what Charles said on the phone to Camilla, if you look that up, that is not akin to, but in the same horny vein as Robert Kraft. So, yeah. I think King Charles is kind of a freak, so I do like King Charles. if you read that dialogue, my God.
I mean, we also know your affinity for Belichick, so King Charles being 73, you know?
King Charles and Guilfoot.
Oh, God.
That's
So,
all right, Lucy, away from the royal family, let's talk a little Brady. Because news came out yesterday that he has to get approval by the National Football League, but buying in as part owner with Mark Davis and the Vegas Raiders. Number one, Brady, it would be the third former NFL player ever to be part owner of an NFL team. Brady as a part NFL owner, and do you ever think we see him in the Fox broadcast booth?
I do not think we will ever see him in the Fox broadcast booth. I believe if he's part owner of a team, he probably can't do that. I don't think he can call games if he's a part owner, but I never thought so anyway. I thought he was just doing it because I think what happened was he thought about his retirement and he thought, I'm going to be away from football. And it was kind of a comfort, like panic signing where it was a lot of money. So that was something that was enticing, but also to stay in football. So he could have that as like a security blanket and think, okay, I'll be okay with retiring if I have this option to stay with my feet in football by calling games. But I think now he has all these, I thought, why is he doing this other than that? Because he has all these other things going on. Brady brand, TB12, we think he's closing stores. I don't know what's going on with that, but now he's part owner of a team. He can stay in football without having to call games. He can just sit in the owner's box. And he made a comment during his career where he said, someday I want to own a team and then I can make all the decisions. So this is what he wanted to do in the back of his mind, I think. And I think this is perfect because Vegas, they get a splashy face in Tom Brady, who maybe he won't have that much stake in it, but he will be the face of ownership, I think. I mean, Mark Davis is quite a face for it, but I think Tom Brady is the splashier name. And Tom Brady's going to get the haircut. He's going to get the whole thing. He's going to be eating the P.F. Chang's. It's going to be a whole fun thing, them two together. But he will be sitting there. He'll be making his decisions as a former football player. And two of his quarterbacks, Jimmy Garoppolo and Brian Hoyer. I think this is perfect.
Who's Brady dating right now?
Oh, this is a good question. I feel like he's dating somebody because there's a glow about him. He looks happy and relaxed.
Well, wasn't there something about some like young blonde Instagram
blonde
model or something?
right?
Well, it didn't say young, so I thought maybe it's Martha Stewart. I think they would be great.
Yeah, you really want that to happen. I saw that on your social.
Oh,
that'd be disturbing.
She looks amazing, and they both look amazing for their ages. They both are very.
But Martha Stewart's like 78 years
81.
old.
She's 81.
Tom Brady's like, I know Tom Brady's 44, 45.
Yeah.
I mean,
You think Martha? Come on, like within reason here.
I think that would be my long shot.
Imagine if Tom Brady and Martha Stewart were actually dating.
That would be amazing.
Like the internet would cease to exist. Like
I mean, I guess Martha Stewart seems like she's very friendly with Snoop Dogg. Let's just put it that way.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I don't know. Snoop Dogg might have a problem with it, I think. So maybe that would be a factor in it. Snoop Dogg and Snoop Dogg and Tom Brady would have beef, I think.
Tom Brady and Snoop Dogg are then fighting over Martha Stewart. Actually, I kind of like this now.
That would be interesting. Well, see, Tom Brady and Snoop Dogg are friends. When Tom Brady retired, Snoop Dogg did I think multiple posts on his Instagram story about Tom Brady and like, thank you for everything, Tom, and a picture with Tom. So I think that would it's bros before women. So yes. I think he would look at Snoop Dogg first.
Way to fix
All
that.
right, but okay. So do you read anything into Kardashian Kim calling Brady about the basically gated community he lives in? Is there anything to Kim K? Because I guess they're friends. What about Kim Kardashian and Brady?
Well, the odds on that plus 2,500 tied with Jennifer Aniston to be dating.
Wait, where are you getting these odds from?
So they're in some books that exist. But there are odds out. Taylor Swift is favored. I don't think that's really the right.
Yeah, do you think Brady and Taylor Swift?
I mean, she was just at Gillette Stadium for her concert. I mean,
And
that
she's
took over the
tall.
news. She's tall. She's pretty. I mean, she's
Oh,
you know,
no doubt.
she's like young though. Like I always feel like she's younger than she is, and I think
Or what is
that's
she about? Like 33, probably.
yeah. But I feel like she plays to a younger audience, so, or maybe I don't know. I just feel like
you
she's
still think of teardrops on my
right.
guitar.
Which
Yeah,
I think is a great song. I'm a I'm
Classic.
like a fringe Taylor Swift fan. She's great.
I like the early Swift. I like the early Taylor Swift stuff. I'm not as fond of the new stuff.
Could you ever envision Brady getting back with Giselle?
No. And I don't think he should. I think if she comes crawling back to him, he should say, no way, no thanks.
Well, doesn't she have a guy now too?
Yeah. She has moved on and she has made
Like some trainer guy or something. What is it?
Mr. Jiu-Jitsu instructor.
That's it, yeah.
Yes, Joaquim. And this was the thing too, is Joaquim is their children's jiu-jitsu instructor as well. In her Vogue spread, where she saves a baby bird and she's Mother Earth and she's perfect, where they make her out to be just the most glowing goddess. Her daughter, Vivi, Tom Brady and Giselle's daughter, was quoted in this because she was there during the interview and she said something about jiu-jitsu and she said, that's what Joaquim said. That's what Joaquim said. She quoted the new boyfriend. And I think Tom Brady should stay away.
She was unhappy. She couldn't wait to get away. Like
Oh,
I think Brady is one of those guys that's like a nitpicker.
I think so.
I think at home, like he's like, you're really gonna eat that? Or I think he's
maybe.
I think he's like one of those guys that basically is a micromanager at home.
I think she is the micromanager.
Do you really?
Yes, because he did not have this strict diet and this lifestyle before Giselle. And I wonder going forward, you don't really hear a ton about TB12, about that. Will he still follow this not playing? Will he still follow his diet as strict as he did? I think he will still follow it because of how he looks amazing. And it did allow him to play for so long. But I think he will veer a little bit away from that. I mean, I think he'll have a beer or two out. He'll have nachos again.
I want to get back to the odds on who he's dating. So Taylor Swift is number one, the shortest odds. Who else is on this list?
Adriana Lima and Alessandra.
Who's Adriana Lima?
She was a Victoria's Secret model. She is
beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Okay.
Drop dead gorgeous.
Yes.
Also,
age range for her? What is she?
She might be in her 40s now.
Okay.
Actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I remember when I was a teenager, she and Alessandra Ambrosio and Adriana Lima.
I don't think Tom Brady is going to be dating the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yeah, I don't know if
I think every woman that's on the list, I think we could go on the idea that they're pretty beautiful.
Yeah. They've got that going for them.
Yeah, right, exactly. Everyone's got a different look, but they're all attractive.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so, yeah, it's true. And so both of them, I remember when I was a teenager, they were Victoria's Secret fashion show. It was both of them and they are gorgeous. And so Giselle, former Victoria's Secret fashion model herself.
So it makes sense.
Supermodel. Yes. So could he go model? Or I hear some, not rumblings, but possibility, a TikTok star, maybe Alex Earl, who is a big TikTok star. She dated a former.
Who is this? Who? Alex what?
Alex Earl. So it's ALIX Earl EARLE. And she is very popular at the moment.
Alex Ashley Earl.
Yes. I do like her videos. Her Get Ready With Me makeup videos made her very popular. She went on the Tarte's makeup trip, which is a makeup line, and it was a very big deal that all these influencers went on this trip to Dubai. And she was there with Xandra something, another.
Kim Kardashian is a related account. If you go down to the bottom, that's kind of funny.
There you go. There. Well, okay. So the thing with Kim Kardashian is that I could see that happening. I could, because this is a place
that's a power couple.
And they could do a Skims Brady brand collab.
Yeah.
Would be interesting.
Lucy, how's Boston? What's this sense right now? Because it's been a disastrous spring, let's be honest. I mean,
very sad. Yeah.
The Bruins, fell on their faces. The Celtics, they're going to get swept tonight, right?
Yeah.
Miami's going to crack out the Bruins.
Celtics are going to win tonight.
Keith is very bullish. He loves the Celtics tonight. He thinks it's going to get back to a Boston for a game 5.
Yeah, Celtics win tonight.
But Celtics are eventually going to lose this series. The Red Sox, What's the tone and tenor right now up in Beantown?
Very sad. And I think after the Bruins, it was like, The weather is nice though, so you can say that it's nice for walking around. But the Bruins being out, kind of like that's calloused over, I think now, and the Celtics are just opening that up again because at least we had the Celtics, but now their collapse is stunning. Just stunning how they're not even putting up a fight. Game 3 was the most stunning because you think, okay, they can come out with some firepower and just be moving on all cylinders. But no, not at all. Like they just fell flat. I went to bed before that game was over because there's no reason to watch the rest of that. Succession was on. I didn't even watch that. I was like, I can't watch anything. This is just ridiculous. But the Celtics, I think, will get swept tonight. I think they will get swept, and it will be tonight. There are things I'm hearing like, oh yeah, the people saying that they will win tonight, but they're not going to win the series. I just don't think they're going to win. I don't think they have any energy. They have no, and you think, well, wouldn't it be great if they did what has never been done in basketball before and they win the next?
There's a certain Boston team that did that once, right?
But not an NBA team. So yeah,
exactly.
But that Red Sox team had fight in them. They had so much. That was I became a Red Sox fan, really started following in 2003. So that was one of my first memories of them. So it was like that. I remember the fight and that they had in them, and the Celtics just don't have that. Joe Mazzulla, I think he's already fired. I mean, in my mind, he's gone. Yeah. Even if he stays, I will not acknowledge him as the coach.
Yes, you will.
Stinks.
Oh, you stop that. That's not nice.
I know what he said about when William and Kate made the trip to Boston and they came to the Celtics game. They came all the way here and they asked Joe Mazzulla after the game, what was it like to meet the royal family? And he said, the only royal family I acknowledge is God and Jesus and the whole. No, you could answer that question in a very not rude way. They came all the way from England.
That is true.
And at that moment, I was like, I am out on you, Joe Mazzulla.
You do not attack my royal family.
You don't have to be so rude about this. You could just
King
be like,
Charles is freaky. Wait, what? Anyway, what'd you take away from the Nuggets and the Lakers?
I liked the Nuggets. I was like, oh, maybe the Lakers I kind of liked, but my co-host on Back to the Futures on BetQL Network Sunday nights, Brandon Sprague, he was on the Nuggets from the beginning and he kept saying, I like the Nuggets. So it got in my brain. I was like, yeah, the Nuggets could do it. And now I think they can win the whole thing. They're favored too. And the Celtics aren't any longer by a long shot. So I think I like the Nuggets to win it all right now. Like I right now, even with the Heat probably being in the finals with them, I really like Jokic is the best player in basketball right now. And I think it just is only fitting that they win it all.
Are the Red Sox, Lucy, last one for me would be this. Are the Red Sox going to give you a summer?
Yes, they are. This summer I'm excited for because of the Red Sox in terms of sports in the city, because it's the only thing that's going to be going. And I think they're going to have a huge summer. You look at their rotation is very exciting. Chris Sale is back. Tanner Houck is back in the sense that he was great last night and he went over on his strikeout prop. So I had him over 4.5 strikeouts and he hit that with flying colors. So I'm very excited about this Red Sox team. You got Emmanuel Valdez. He's the one I'm really excited about because he's been hitting home runs. He smiles in all his pictures. He's a happy guy. They just called him up. I like him very much. Tristan Casas also is intriguing.
Lucy, your best bet of the day today would be what?
Soler to hit a home run props. I am 3-0 on home run props in the past 3 that I have.
Who was yours the other day? Was it Mountcastle the other day?
It was okay. So first was Max Muncy, then Ryan Mountcastle. Yeah. Ryan Mountcastle, that's right. And
right, because Mountcastle was the one we agreed on. Yeah,
exactly. That one just like that fit. Yeah. That was great. And then last night was Freddie Freeman. So that was a 3-run bomb, I believe. So that was
it was.
Yes. So Jorge Soler to hit a home run tonight.
I have a home run prop today. I have 2 that I like today. Yeah. Let me pull up my sheet for Better as I had I do like Jordan potentially, but Ohtani 4-1 odds to homer against your boy Brian Bayo. Sorry.
I know, but I mean, I would like that to be maybe the only run or runs, depending on, that the Angels score. That would be nice. And then Bayo to go over his strikeout prop, which is 5.5, which I like him to go over that as well.
I could see that. Hey, let me help you out for your summer, since I don't really think the Red Sox are going to matter that much. Saturday, July 29th at Port Park in Chelsea, Massachusetts. You can go to the Landmark Orchestra. You can go with family members. Jose Masso is going to be there. It's going to be great for a great event.
Yeah, that sounds better than going to the Red Sox game. Yeah.
Yeah, fine. Wednesday, August
Chelsea,
2nd,
yeah.
there's an event at the Hatch Shell.
Yep, that's right down the street.
Yeah. It's George Gershwin's An American in Paris. There's
Oh,
dance episodes. I mean,
how
it's
do you
gonna
miss
be
that? That does sound better. I might plan my summer around those two events specifically.
Yeah,
That
make
sounds
sure
good.
you check those two out because those are just on the list of things that might be better than the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah, but yeah, for sure. Yeah, you'll see. You will see. This is gonna be a very exciting summer, and everyone's gonna be sorry that they
All
said
right.
their team.
We also have like 3 minutes left. Moose, can I put Lucy on the spot and see if she'll do something?
What's that?
You ready for this?
Sure.
So she already did it on social media last
Yeah,
week.
Susie.
You know what I'm about to ask you, don't you?
I think so. Do you? Yeah.
Can you do Rap God for me?
Yeah. That part.
Yeah, that part.
Yeah,
If you, I mean, you, and honestly, we're on the internet. You can curse if you want to, or you can bleep yourself.
Okay.
It's fine.
Oh, okay. Yeah. If I can leave the curse in, that would be great.
I know it's easier for you too. Do you need music for this, or you're good?
I'm good.
All right. Here we go. This is Lucy Burdge, Rap God.
You assuming I'm a human, what I gotta do to get it through to you? I'm superhuman, innovative, and I made a rubber so that anything you say is ricocheting off of me and it'll glue to you. I'm devastating more than ever, demonstrating how to give a motherfucking audience a feeling like it's levitating, never fading. And I know the haters are forever waiting for they can say I fell. They'll be celebrating because I know the way to get them motivated. I make elevated music. You make elevator music. Oh, he's too mainstream. Well, that's what they do, and they get jealous. They confuse it. It's not hip hop. It's pop. Because I found a hella way to fuse it with rock, shop carpet, doc, throwing lose yourself and make them lose it. And then I can do the rest of it, but like
boom! There you go.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Yep, it's fun.
Yes.
When I was in college and I practiced that every day, and then I put it on YouTube.
Love it.
Lucy, so BetQL, your show Sunday nights?
Yes, Sunday nights from 8 to 9 Eastern.
Beautiful. Lucy, you're the best. We appreciate the time. Thanks for taking it with us here on this Tuesday. All right. Well,
you guys are the
chat with you
best.
again soon.
Yes, I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you so
Great
much.
stuff. Talk soon.
There you
Thank
go.
you. Talk
Lucy
soon.
Burdge from BetQL. She's fantastic.
Did you see the video that she posted when she did? When I
did
saw
not.
it, I'm like, oh my God. Like, if we get her, when the next time we get her on, I have to ask her. And that's why I looked quickly. I'm like, oh, we only have 3 minutes. I got to get this, get her to do this.
No, that's great. That's great. I did want to mention one other thing before we go is that, watching the game last night and listening to, and Breen's amazing, Van Gundy's amazing, and Mark Jackson as a team, their group.
Yeah.
But listening to them, and I'm not, we've gotten back and forth about, color analysts. I honestly listening to Mark Jackson talk about Nikola Jokic. I almost got the sense that Mark Jackson hasn't watched Nikola Jokic play a lot of basketball.
Interesting.
Like, if you go back and you listen to the way they talked about it, he's like, he's a basketball savant. He's amazing. Watching him play, it was almost like Mark Jackson discovered. I think for a lot of people around the NBA, they finally discovered just how good of a player Nikola Jokic is. Instead of looking at his box score, actually watching him play games. And this is why, Denver doesn't have the Q rating of the Lakers or the Knicks or the Celtics or, the upper echelon teams or the more or I would say the more popular teams in the NBA. But if you actually listen to Mark Jackson last night during the course of the broadcast, the way he talked about Nikola Jokic, maybe I'm not surprised that he wasn't in his MVP voting.
I mean, it's also because, like, when you think about highlight packages, how often are highlights of Jokic mixed in? He's not dunking on people like
No, I meant to mention that because I
yeah.
was like he was almost talking about, like, when you discover something for the first time.
Yes.
And it's like, oh my God, like, this is so good. Like, this pizza's amazing. Like, that's the way that he was talking about. Like, you have Sally's up here in Connecticut and you bite into it. Like, this pizza, the first time this pizza is amazing. Like, that's the way he was talking about Nikola Jokic during the course of the game last night. I was like, maybe he forgot. He completely honestly forgot about him when he looked at MVP voting. But
because
congratulations to the Nuggets.
Go Denver.
That's exactly right. We're out of time. Keith.
Yes.
Till tomorrow. Have a good
we'll do it
Tuesday,
tomorrow.
everybody.
Celtics
Tomorrow morning
tonight.
at 10, we're back. Moose and Keith, Better Sports Network. Peace.